We're now calling this township meeting to order. Roll call. Trustee Baptiste.
Aye.
Trustee Wynn.
Aye, here.
Trustee Wilson.
Here.
Trustee Holmes.
Here.
Trustee Tindem. Here. Trustee Grover. Here. Trustee Rainey. Here. Trustee Burris. I'm sorry, Trustee Fisk, I missed you.
Thanks. Here.
We have 9. On March 25th, there was a notice placed in the Pioneer Press, and it stated, the reason why we're having this township meeting, and it says, to the legal voters, residents of the town of Evanston in the county of Cook and the state of Illinois, that the annual township meeting to be held on Tuesday, April 13, 2010, being the second Tuesday of said month, during the hour of 7 p.m. in the City Council Chamber Room, 2nd floor, 2100 Ridge Avenue, for the purpose of transaction of miscellaneous business of the said town, and after a moderator having been elected, will proceed to hear and consider reports of officers and decide on which measures, as may, in pursuance of law, come before the meeting, and especially to decide the following: the call of order, Town Clerk Rodney Green, announcement of legal notice publication, election of moderator and administration of oath, approval of minutes of 2009 annual town meeting, financial report, annual report by Town Supervisor Patricia Vance, annual report by Town Assessor Bonnie Wilson, motion on the 2/11 annual town meeting, and other businesses, and then adjournment. At this time, I will entertain a motion for a nomination of a moderator. It can be anyone from the audience, or it can be anyone from the dais.
Move election of Trustee Burris as the moderator for the evening.
Second.
Are there any other nominations from the floor?
Yes.
I move acclamation.
That was so set up.
The nomination is moved for Trustee Burris to be the moderator for the evening. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Moderator Burris, will you come forward to take your oath of office? Madam
Mayor, you got
Mayor,
to cede
you
the
can
seat.
relinquish your chair.
Great.
Oh, sorry. You raise your right hand.
Yes.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of moderator at this town meeting.
duties of moderator at this town meeting.
So help me God.
So help me God.
First order of business. Yeah.
You've already done the call. And you've done the legal notice publication.
Yes.
So we do the approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the 2009 annual town meeting?
Second.
Do we have to do a roll call? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee John Batiste.
Aye.
Trustee Wynn.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Tindem. Aye. Trustee Grover. Aye. Trustee Rainey.
Aye.
Trustee Fisk.
Aye.
Moderator Burris.
Aye. Can we now have the financial report from Town Clerk Rodney Green?
I'm going to give you a Reader's Digest version. This is a lengthy report, but the township is in good standing financially. We're looking at the revenues. First at the town fund. The total revenues are $551,904. The general assistance fund is $1,108,068, a total of $1,659,972. The expenditures from the town fund is $539,286. From the general assistance fund, $952,885, with a total expenditure of $1,492,171. We're looking at the beginning year fund balance of $602,230. General assistance fund, $1,292,888, and the total was $1,895,118. If you look at the total town and GA expenditures for 209-210 budget, that was $1,608,533. The estimated 12 months expenditures was $1,492,171, and the remaining balance is $116,362. For the total GA revenue for 2009-2010 is $1,110,553. The estimated 12 months revenue is $1,108,068, with a remaining balance of $2,485. Total summary of the GA summary in the year 2009-2010 is $21,271 in the budgeted year, and the estimated 12 months revenue is $155,183. Total payroll in the budget 2009-2010 was $234,259. And the estimated 12-month expenditure was $236,351, with a remaining balance of $2,092. Total administrative overhead for 2009-2010 was $235,555. The estimated 12-month expenditure was $223,296, with a remaining balance of $12,259. The total assessors expenditures for the year 2009-2010 was $90,703. The estimated 12 months revenue was $83,592, with a remaining balance of $7,101. The total town summary came up for 2009-2010 was $22,502, with an estimated budget for the 12-month revenue of $12,618. And closing out, the total community action expenditures was $45,550, with the estimated 12-month revenue of $28,108, and a remaining balance of $17,442. That is how the township financial standards stand at the moment. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Alderman Rainey? Trustee Rainey?
Do you have an itemization specifically for legal expenses this year? I'd be very curious to know what that total was.
Let me find that for you.
It's on there for the past year, the fiscal year that just ended. The legal expenses, $61,043.
I just want the community to hear that the township's legal expenses were $61,000.
Thank you,
And
Ms.
tonight
Vance.
we have a bill for $9,000.
we have any other questions from any of the trustees? Do we have a motion to approve the financial report?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a roll call vote.
Trustee John Batiste.
Aye.
Trustee Wynn.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Tyndall.
Aye.
Trustee Grover.
Aye.
Trustee Rainey.
Aye.
Trustee Burris.
Aye.
And Trustee Fisk.
Aye.
It's 9-0.
Got it? Next, we'd like to have the annual report from the Township Supervisor, Patricia Vance. If you can come to the podium. Thank you.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to apologize before I start because I have a sore throat. So I'm going to be drinking water constantly with this.
Would you like a lozenge?
To the electors of the Township of Evanston, as you have heard from the clerk, and I'm pleased to report to you on this Tuesday, April 13th, 2010, that the township is in a healthy fiscal state. Our general assistance administrative expenses are in line with other townships. These services that are provided to our clients are labor-intensive and rooted in bureaucratic paperwork that consumes time. Also, it should be noted that the general assistance staff performs all of the administrative functions of the township. The township does not have staff or programs. The Township of Evanston was in a financial position to meet all of its statutory mandates for general assistance. This includes the general assistance grants, employment-related activities, and medical care. It remains in a position to meet the statutory mandates for general assistance for the upcoming 2010-2011 fiscal year. Because of the intense case management provided by the staff, the Township General Assistance Office has been able to receive back over $20,000 in SSI reimbursements and recoup medical payments, thereby decreasing projected medical expenses from $75,000 to $35,000. The township will meet its budgeted obligations also for the town fund. Since my election in 2001, I have consistently strived to learn and carry out the responsibilities of my office as supervisor. These responsibilities pertain to managing the financial and day-to-day activities of the township, including treasurer of all funds, town and general assistance, and supervisor of the general assistance office. There is a separate elected official for the assessor's office. That elected official does not report to the township supervisor. As treasurer, I continue to have a fiduciary responsibility to try and ensure that the funds are handled in a manner that will avoid misuse. I must submit a balanced budget to the trustees for approval. I want to try and ensure that both the town and general assistance funds have adequate operating cash. As supervisor of the General Assistance Office, I have sole responsibility for administering the program according to the Illinois Public Aid Code. While the township and the city of Evanston has coterminous boundaries, we must all heed the fact that the township is a separate entity of government. As an entity of government, it has separate statutory taxing powers. The budget for projected revenue is governed by tax caps. The township's powers are defined by the state statutes. We, as a township, can only provide services for those things that are explicitly defined in the statutes. While the viability of the continued role of township government is questioned, those of us who work with townships and those who receive the services for them have no doubt about their importance. Unlike cities and counties, which also have income and sales tax available, townships rely on property taxes to fund services. Townships are required to provide general assistance. There is always a constant challenge to provide services efficiently and maintain the visibility of the township. Proper stewardship of tax dollars is and always will be an important responsibility. Please know that there are some statutory guidelines that govern how the dollars are spent. Governments at all levels are continually facing renewed challenges to manage public finances more effectively. Declining or stagnant economic conditions can reduce tax revenues while increasing demands for certain services. GA participation is always an unknown. My role as supervisor, as defined by the statutes, continue to be twofold: to act as the treasurer for all funds received and to administer a general assistance program. The town of the city of Evanston has two funds, a town and a general assistance fund. The town fund pays for the expenses of the assessor's office, the supervisor's office, which is mainly the accounting and auditing of township funds, community action programs, and community purchase services. During the past fiscal year, the town fund was able to fund $300,000 in community purchase services agreements in conjunction with the City of Evanston Mental Health Board, and $28,000 in community action program that included $15,000 for the Summer Youth Employment Program and $5,000 for the Evanston Youth Summit. The town was able to do this because of its fund balance. The fund balance is anticipated to also be able to assist in the 2010-2011 budget year. It should be noted, however, that once this fund balance is exhausted, the township will not be able to maintain this level of support to the community purchase services. However, the township remains committed to trying to assist. From the General Assistance Fund, over $400,000 in client-related GA payments and emergency assistance payments were made. General assistance, while labeled as a welfare program, is not centered on welfare. It focuses on work for those who are capable and need additional assistance. Work provides independence and income, but also provides dignity and an opportunity for growth in people's lives. For those unable to work, staff work diligently to try and help them navigate the system to secure SSI and Social Security disability payments. Currently, we have an average caseload of 90. As this township year ended as of March 31st, and a new one begins as of April 1st, it is once again a time when we can begin to look into the future and to see the township not as it is, but as it can become. The township took steps during this fiscal year to see where and how its fund balances could be used to support needed services to township residents who were not eligible for the General Assistance Program or Emergency Assistance Programs. A former president of the Township Officials of Illinois once stated that the greatness of townships is not where they stand, but in what direction they are moving. We must sail sometimes with the wind and sometimes against it, but sail we must, and not drift nor lie at anchor. We must prepare to refresh our motivation, direction, and service to our residents. Township government was created to make problems become opportunities and improve the quality of life of our people. We need to maintain a positive attitude as a powerful force. We must develop a team versus being a group of individuals. We must reach out and listen to our residents regarding their needs and concerns. Action is always better than reaction. I have the audacity to hope for a new look at the township. Township government is a source of stability in a person's life that has no other possible source of economic support. But being a source of stability does not mean townships are stagnant or stuck in the past. Townships continue to evolve and adapt to changes in the communities in which they serve. We make sure that we maximize the dollars during good times and bad times so that vital township services continue to be provided. Technological innovations are being put to use to improve service delivery and provide more information to citizens. We continue to look for ways to maximize the dollars that we receive to deliver a needed service and to possibly address other issues. We continue to provide services as efficiently and cost-effectively as possible. The township remains an integral part of the community. We provide services that directly impact the quality of life of our most economically needed. We provide efficient, high levels of service and seek to find innovative, low-cost ways to solve problems and deliver services. Township government remains a government of the people. An obligation to help meet the needs of the needy remains steadfast, as outlined by the statutes. I pledge to continue to work for the good of the Township of Evanston and the statutory requirements of the Township of Evanston. I hold steadfast to the views of Mother Teresa. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, there may be jealousy. Be happy anyway. Be good. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you've got anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it has never been between you and them anyway. Township government is not a perfect government. In fact, no government is perfect. I believe in the government that I was elected to serve as township supervisor. Our job never ends in township government. We must constantly be seeking new ways and methods to meet our obligations. Arthur John Steinbeck said, "We want the facts to fit the preconceptions. When they don't fit, it's easier to ignore the facts than to change the preconceptions." I believe we can change preconceptions if we join in partnership with others, and others must join in partnership with us to make a change for the better, a reality for all Evanston electors. As Andy Warhol stated, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. All of us must be the change agent for positive perceptions of township government and how it can work to effect change for those it seeks to help. I would like to thank my staff at the Township General Assistance Office for continuing to work with me to embrace change. Yes, I can and I will continue to carry out the duties of the Office of Township Supervisor of the Town of Evanston, and I look forward to embracing the 2010-2011 fiscal year. Thank you.
Do we have any questions from the trustees? Trustee Grover?
Thank you, Moderator Burris. Ms. Vance, it's a natural follow-up question to your prescription for helping the township become what it should be and a hope for a new township. What role do you see us as trustees playing in a plan for a new township or helping you become what you can be? What can we do? Are we meeting often enough? Are we managing township business well enough? What can we offer you that we don't now?
One of the things that I would truly like to see is for all of us as elected officials and with the good of the township to sit down and to have a strategic talk about the township and its direction and what we would like to see happen for the township. I, as working with the terms of the general assistance, have some things, but in terms of the town fund and other things that we want to see done, we need to look at it holistically and have that open dialogue, which will help also in terms of the budgeting process, so that when we get ready to plan for the budget, we already know what it is that's the priorities and what we want to look forward to.
Then it sounds to me as if there might be room for more frequent meetings than once a year. We can only meet to do this strategizing as a group, obviously in public, subject to the Open Meetings Act as trustees as well. So we can't sit down in a small room.
It is my understanding, and maybe what we want to look at, it is my understanding that I do know, because you also serve as the coterminous nature of it, you serve as the trustees and the alderman. It is you, as trustees or an alderman, decided as to who and how the business of the township would be looked at. So I think maybe you need to go back and take a look at, how you want to structure those meetings.
As supervisor, what do you recommend?
As supervisor, one of the things I would totally recommend is that if we want to talk about true township business, that is not just be an agenda item for budget approval at the Human Services Committee. Maybe what we need to do is to actually schedule a little time, hour or more, whatever, maybe a quarter or whatever, and actually sit down and talk about township business per se, and just not bill approval.
Trustee Rainey.
Well, I really think that we ought to have a township committee. We had one for years and years and years, and the trustees knew exactly what was going on in the township. I certainly don't know what's going on in the township, and Pat's right. All we do is talk about the bills. Those bills represent certain activities that we're not in touch with, and I think that we should have a township committee that meets quarterly, and I'm going to make that reference to the Rules Committee.
Anyone else? Trustee Grover.
Thank you, Moderator Burris. And perhaps when we get down to agenda item number 8, we can discuss in a meaningful way perhaps the addition of another township trustee meeting during this year rather than just meeting in 1 year, if that helps.
We're going to have a committee.
Alderman Holmes, could you talk on your mic? Oh, it's help. Oh, just be.
Just a sidebar.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Anyone else? I think we need a motion to approve the report.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee John Batiste.
Aye.
Trustee Wynn.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Tindem. Aye. Trustee Grover.
I would thank you to Supervisor Vance.
Trustee Rainey. Trustee Burris.
Aye.
And Trustee Fisk.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have an annual report from the Township Assessor, Bonnie Wilson, and this is Bonnie's first time reporting to us.
Thank you, trustees of the town of the city of Evanston. I'm Bonnie Wilson, Evanston Township Assessor. I want to start first by refreshing your memories. I was elected on April 7th, 2009, but was not sworn in until January 11th of 2010. I also could not run for office until I became a certified assessing officer, and that happened on December 1st, 2008. It is now April of 2010, which means it has been over a year since I was elected to this office, and I am just coming before you now as Evanston's Township Assessor. These are important dates for you to remember, and I will elaborate on this later in my presentation. Now I would like to present to you what I've been doing as the Evanston Township Assessor in the last 4 months and the issues that I'm dealing with. Just to let you know, the duties of the Township Assessor are helping taxpayers with their exemptions, appeals, and also making sure that the building permits are sent to the Cook County Assessor's Office. In the first week after I was sworn in, I had many phone calls and walk-ins from taxpayers who were going before the Board of Review to appeal their assessments. Darnell Jefferson, my deputy assistant, and I helped the taxpayers find comparables for their properties. The Cook County Township Assessor's Office have a software program called AIM, Assessor's Information Management. This program provides taxpayers comparable properties in common neighborhoods and other criteria for appeals. The taxpayers may either mail in their appeals or go before the Board of Review downtown for a hearing. I felt it was also important for Darnell Jefferson and I to go downtown to observe the meetings at the Board of Review when they meet with Evanston taxpayers. I wanted to see what was important to members of the Board of Review. We also transported appeals for taxpayers who could not who could not go downtown to meet with the Board of Review. I had met Commissioner Berrios at Township Assessor's monthly meeting, and he invited Darnell and I to come to observe the board when they met with individual taxpayers during the Evanston appeal period. In fact, the staff was glad we had come to observe and was very helpful. We saw 7 Evanston taxpayers, and I'm sure they were impressed that we were there to help them. It was also good to meet the staff of the Board of Review in case I had questions in the future. In fact, a few days ago, I called with a question. The staff member knew my name and was very helpful. Permits. I also made an appointment to meet with Pete Ferryhead, the programmer for this AIM software program. Pete came to the assessor's office to show Darnell and I other features of the program. Pete has been in the assessor's office several times in the past 2 years to update the program, but was never paid. I made sure Pete has been paid over $1,000 due to him. When Pete explained the program, I asked him about building permits and whether they were being sent to the Cook County Assessor's Office from this program. I was told last December, before I was sworn in, that the Assessor's Office was not getting copies of building permits, which is one function of my office. I knew that Darnell was putting the permits into this program. Pete confirmed that the permits were not, I say not, being sent to the Assessor's Office. In fact, there were over 6,000 permits stored in this program that were not sent to the county. The former assessor ordered Darnell to mail just the permits over $65,000 and to simply enter the other permits into this program. The AIM program is capable of emailing these permits directly to the permit department of the Cook County Assessor's Office, but that was not being done. I called the permit department in Bridgeview to make an appointment to meet with them to find the best way to remedy this problem. When Darnell and I went to Bridgeview, we learned that the permit department had complained for years that they were not getting many permits from Evanston in a timely manner. They showed me a folder from Evanston that was empty. They did have some permits, but not as many as they should have received in the last 3 years or maybe longer. They wanted all the permits, not just the ones over $65,000. They provided a list of permits that they had received in the last 3 years, so Darnell could delete these permits from the Evanston computer program. A few weeks later, I went to visit the systems department at the Cook County Assessor's Office. They informed me that the Evanston Assessor's Office did not have access to the county's email system because they needed pertinent information that they were not given, even though they had made numerous requests. I gave them the information they needed to put us back in the system, and they gave me the necessary passwords so we could email the permits to them. I also asked them about a program that comes directly from the Cook County Assessor's Office called A1400. Only the Cook County Township Assessors have access to this program. This program is helpful because it gives the history of the property, how long the taxpayer has had exemptions, and many other important facts that taxpayers can't access. The system staff explained how I could access this program. I was told that the program was cut off a few years ago from the Evanston Assessor's Office because my predecessor did not provide required information. We now have access to the system. In fact, I had seen the system and the AIM program when I was observing 5 other township assessors' offices before I took office, so I knew both existed. I was not invited to come into the Evanston Assessor's Office before I took office. I contacted another IT company, Computer Bits, who worked with the Cook County Assessor's Office on the A1400 program, and he showed Darnell and I how to get into this program. We also had a staff person from the Cook County Assessor's Office come into the office to train us on this program. She was very happy to do so. When Computer Bits was in the office, I had them inspect the condition of our computer. They informed me that we did not have backup tapes or up-to-date antivirus on our computers. I asked them to order the backup tapes, antivirus program, and to check out our computers. They told me the computers were over 8 years old and needed to be replaced, and they gave me a quote. I also called another IT person that Pete recommended for another quote on the computers. Leonard McGraw is with IT Advocate Company, a company that works with New Trier Township and other municipalities. Leonard quoted me a lower price for the computers, so I ordered the computers from IT Advocate Company. His hourly rate is also less than Computer Bits. Leonard will be installing the new computers in the assessor's office in a few weeks. Finally, on March 12th, after Darnell had deleted all the duplicate permits from the computer, we had Pete come back into the Evanston Assessor's Office again to show us how to email these permits directly to the Cook County Assessor's Permit Department. As you can see from the attached email, there were over 4,909 permits delivered to the Cook County Assessor's Office that they did not have. The email also mentions that 553 more were duplicates that were not deleted. However, I just learned a few weeks ago that some of the 553 might not be duplicates. Now the permit department is going through these 4,909 permits to see which are subject to assessment modification, that is, assessable. I just received an email last week, which is attached, saying that over 1,567 of these permits are assessable. However, 2,051 are not. The Cook County Permit Department still has not finished looking at all the permits. This has also taken up a lot of time in their department, with over 2 to 3 staff people going over all these permits in the last month. This means that the values were not added to the properties that had used the permits. The assessor cannot send out a field director to assess these properties until the year 2011 and can only reassess for the year they go out to the property and not for the year the taxpayer took out the permit. I would like to quote from the Illinois Statutes, Chapter 65 of the Illinois Municipal Code, Article 2, Corporate Powers and Functions, Recording a Building Permit, Section 1139(1). Every municipality in counties containing 200,000 or more inhabitants which issues building permit shall forward a copy of the building permit to the township assessor and a copy to the county assessor of the county in which the municipality is situated within 15 days of the permit. We are now working closely with the permit department in Evanston. They gave me a mailbox so I could just go into the first floor and pick up the most recent permits. I am planning on meeting with the city permit department to make sure they are also sending a list of permits to the Cook County Assessor's Office each month. As I mentioned before, this is a requirement of the city to send reports to the Cook County Assessor's Office. In fact, last week, I asked the permit department if they had a summary of the permits for this year. They gave me 40 pages of permits, but with no value on the permits, which you will see in your packet. There's no price here, and this was not acceptable to the Cook County Permit Department. What does this mean for the city of Evanston? It is that we cannot recover any taxes from any properties that were not reassessed. I have not calculated the loss to the city, the township, or the schools, but now I would like to just move on and make sure in the future that the assessor's office makes sure all permits are sent to the permit department of the Cook County Assessor's Office in a timely manner. I will also confirm that the city of Evanston is in compliance and emails a summary of the permits to the Cook County Assessor's Office. This way, the county permit department can double-check that they are getting all of Evanston's building permits. During the month of February and the beginning of March, Darnell and I were helping seniors fill out the senior freeze application. The senior freeze means the taxpayer can get a reduction in their assessment if their household income is less than $55,000 and they are over 65 years old. The assessor's office still is taking applications for the senior freeze. We mail in the completed forms directly to the assessor's office. Each senior freeze application had to be notarized. Darnell is a notary, so it is helpful to the taxpayers who do not have to go somewhere else to get the application notarized. It is a one-stop shop. We help them fill out the applications, notarize them, and mail them off to the Cook County Assessor's Office. Vacant properties. Another request from the County Assessor's Office was for us to go into Evanston and look at the properties that the Assessor's Office has classified as vacant property. Darnell and I spent several afternoons looking at 15 parcels, 4 of which had either a building or a home on the property. Moving to City Hall. During recent city budget meetings, the question came up whether the Assessor's Office should move back to City Hall. Before I took office, I personally thought it was a good idea to move back. I even encouraged the budget participants to vote for moving the assessor's office back to City Hall. However, after being in the office for the last 4 months, I now think it might not be such a good idea. As you know, we get many seniors that come into our office. Many of them are handicapped, and it's difficult for them to walk very far. The Curtin Assessor's Office has great access to parking. In fact, taxpayers can park right in front of the office and walk a few steps to the office. If the assessor's office moved back to City Hall, I feel that it would not be convenient for our taxpayers. Even if we are in the basement, it is still a much longer walk for them to get into the office. Our office on Dodge and Main has no steps or long driveways to walk down. So now I have second thoughts about moving the office back to City Hall. At this point, I do not think it's a good idea. Attending Township Assessors meetings. Darnell and I have been to several Cook County Assessors Township monthly meetings. We also attended a meeting sponsored by the Cook County Township Assessors to learn more about the AIM program so that we have a better understanding of the program to help the taxpayers during the appeal period. Because Darnell is the only person working in the office full-time, I have been in the office every day for at least a few hours. At least twice or once a week, I spend a full day in the office. I also try to cover Darnell for lunch. The office is open Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. and closes the office at 4:30. If Darnell goes out for lunch when I'm not present, he places a note on the door. At times, if we are both at a meeting or both of us have to attend the same meeting, we always leave a voicemail on the phone and place a note on the door indicating when we will return. I do want to give accolades to my Deputy Assessor, Darnell Jefferson. Would you like to stand? He has been doing a wonderful job helping with the taxpayers, especially during the appeal time and during the senior freeze. He is always very helpful to all the taxpayers when they call in and when they come into the office. They all know him and find him very easy to deal with. He especially shows concern and kindness to the seniors that come into the assessor's office. He is also very committed to helping me with the permits and getting them entered into the computer. We will be working on the 2010 permits, which as of now number over 500. We are both working together to code these permits to decide if they are accessible or non-accessible. We also seem to be working very well together. I also want to mention the great response in working next door to the General Assistance Program. Everyone there, included Val Weidman and Rosemary Jean-Paul, and staff have been very helpful and supportive to me in my first 4 months of being assessor. Work to be done. There are still many things I would like to do to help the taxpayers of Evanston. I felt it up until now it was more important to update and clean up the office and get all the permits sent to the Cook County Assessor's Office. There are still many things I will do to help the taxpayers of Evanston. Hopefully in June we can have an open house and explain to the taxpayers what we do and how we can help them. I also want to attend ward meetings, committee meetings, and be an advocate for the taxpayers of Evanston. In the first month, Darnell and I had a table at an event at Fleetwood Jardine at the Evanston Affordable Living Fair. Several taxpayers that we met at that event came into the office so we could help them with their exemptions. I hope we can continue to attend other community events in Evanston. This is a reassessed year for Evanston. Because of the work we just got done in the last 4 months, we are better prepared for taxpayers when it's time to appeal their assessments and answer their questions. I still have not been told of the dates of this appeal period. Website. When I took office, there was no website or email address that went directly to the assessor's office. I now have an email address, which is bwilson@townofevanston.com. So far, I've gotten over 300 emails. Supervisor Patricia Vance and I are in the midst of discussing creating a website for the township. I feel this is extremely important to let more people know where we are, how we can help them, and how they can contact us. I want to have forms on this website that taxpayers can just print out also instead of having to come into the office. Darnell and I have also put together a mailing list for taxpayers who call in and want to know when they can appeal their assessments or if they're waiting for a certain exemption that has not come from the assessor's office. We will either contact the taxpayer by phone, email, or mail and let them know about a new exemption or when the appeal time is and when their deadline is for the appeals. We now have over 50 names on this mailing list. I wanted to let you know that on March 25th, I received an email from State Representative Julie Hamos, which will be probably the last time I'll be saying that, who helped introduce legislation that will allow township assessors to take office a month after they are elected instead of waiting 9 months. If this legislation is passed, it will not take effect until the year 2013 election cycle. The bill is HB 4627. If you'd like to support this bill, please call your state representative or state senator. As mentioned in this presentation, if I would have taken office earlier, perhaps I would have taken care of the permits in 2009, which would have been assessed in 2010, instead of waiting another year for 2011 to reassess properties that are accessible. I also want to mention that I'm working very closely with Jan Zetbeso from the Assessor's Office, who has been very helpful and supporting to me when I have any questions. Number of walk-ins and phone calls in 4 months. We have had approximately 280 walk-ins to the office and 180 phone calls to the Assessor's Office since I have taken office in January. I also found that many taxpayers do not have homeowners exemptions. If you have owned and lived in your home on January 1st of this year, you are eligible for a homeowner's exemption. I am encouraging everyone to call the Assessor's Office at 847-332-2465 to make an appointment to come into the office, or we might be able to help you over the phone. We are at 846 Dodge at the corner of Dodge and Main. Our hours again are from 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. Again, my email address is bwilson@townofevanston.com. Also, I want to tell the Budget Committee that if I can be of any assistance in identifying the exempt properties that they have questions about, or be of assistance to Sarah Flax with the NSP2 program, please let me know. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to let you know what has been going on for the last 4 months in Evanston Township Assessor's Office. I welcome all of you to come and visit us at any time and observe what we are doing and how we are doing. I have just begun to be the advocate for all the taxpayers of Evanston, and I hope soon I can have workshops and meetings throughout the city so more taxpayers will know about us and how we can help them with exemptions and appeals. Thank you.
Trustee Rainey?
I want to thank you so much for being willing to run and win this office. We've known for years that we were in trouble, but nobody felt they had the power to do anything about it. And hearing what you're doing is just very rewarding and very comforting. And I've even made a couple of calls. But what I want to know is, can you clarify what is accessible? When you look at the building permits, I know you said 65,000, but surely there's a lesser number.
I didn't bring that with me, but we do have a list of codes that what are accessible and what aren't accessible.
Is it not necessarily the amount, but the improvement?
It's the improvements, and it's not necessarily the amounts of. But I have that list in my office, and I'm just learning how to assess properties. And
also, I know for a fact that we produce a report that has every single permit with the value of the work being done and the cost of the permit. We have that. So that you're not, we do, we get it. We used to get it all the time. We've gotten it once or twice since the new city manager's been here. No, it has the value of the work.
This has no value. This
Well,
is what.
But I'm telling you, there is another report that we have to get to you that will solve the problem.
But it's not it's the responsibility of the city.
That's what I'm saying. We have it, and they will get it to you, right?
And Trustee Rainey, members of the Township Board, we have been in touch with Ms. Wilson, Lehman Walker, our Community Development Director, and Grant Farrar, the City Attorney, have been over the last several days. So we're working to make sure that the assessor gets the information she needs.
Yeah, but I also feel that what I would like to do is meet with the City Permit Department and have a conference call with the Permit Department from Cook County and exactly know what they need to get to the Cook County, because I got a call today from your permit department saying, I can't send all this information. They want the description of the property. I don't have that information. I said, just next week, I will sit down with all of you and make sure that we all understand what needs to get done.
Okay. Another thing, are you still going to have a relationship, will you have a relationship with Larry Suffredin's office, who has been, while we've not had a really effective assessor, he's sort of stepped in and helped with appeals and questions about
I
property
actually
tax.
was talking to Karen today, and I forgot to ask the question if she's getting less people come to her office. I asked Larry, and he's doing other things. But yes, I'm in touch with them.
So people can still go either place, whatever
Right,
is
but
going
I would prefer that they would come here. I mean, we have mutual clients, actually, that we
Might take a while to retrain people.
Exactly,
They
and
might
that's
be
what Karen was trying to tell one of the taxpayers today. She said, go visit the assessor's office. No, I don't want to go there anymore. Go visit, you might like her. So, yeah, we are
But
definitely
we'll
in
tell
touch.
everybody that it's not a scary place anymore.
Right.
And anyone
Thank
else?
you very much.
Any other trustees? Comments? Can we get a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Trustee John Batiste.
Aye.
Trustee Nguyen. Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Tindem. Trustee Grover. Trustee Rainey.
Aye.
Moderator Burris.
Aye.
Trustee Fisk.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye. Accepted.
We now need to do a motion for the annual town meeting for 2011. And Trustee Grover, did you want to propose a meeting before then to discuss planning for the township?
Yeah, I think it might not be a bad idea to meet twice in a year at the very least. Is this a referral to our Rules Committee, or can we decide as trustees tonight whether to meet more than once?
I
There's
I
a
don't know
motion. I made a reference.
A reference
Grant-
to,
To the
Grant
rules.
Farrar, can you please?
for a town committee.
Yes.
Town committee, yeah.
Okay. So we're referring to Rules Committee about the meeting
About
the middle of the
creation
year.
of a town committee. And then I think it's a separate matter, though, is for us to decide, are we going to meet
Right.
more often than once?
Grant, can you help us out on how we go about doing that? And Trustee Wilson, do you have a comment before then?
Well, I think Alderman Rainey's suggestion was that we devise a committee within the council to have more direct communications, and I think that might address Alderman Grover's concerns, at least on the interim basis. And then perhaps if we feel we need that entire group, we could address that after the committee's formed. So I would move that we set the annual meeting for Tuesday, April 2nd, 2011.
Second.
What did I say? I'm sorry, April 12th, 2011.
Okay. Do we need a roll call on this? Just a voice vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Trustee Wilson, do you want to make a motion then for the referral?
Well, I think.
It's already made, sorry.
And
Sorry
that
about that, Ann.
that would be city council business.
Right.
So,
Super.
right, we can pick that up at the end
Oh.
of the council meeting.
Okay, any other business for the township? Do you
I was just ready. I was on standby.
have, okay. Any other business for the township? Okay,
Move to adjourn.
we have to roll call for adjournment.
Trustee John Batiste. Yes. Trustee Nguyen. Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Tindem. Trustee Grover. Trustee Rainey. Moderator Burris.
Aye.
Trustee Fisk.
Aye.
Meeting is
Adjourned.
adjourned. Next meeting start at 15 minutes from
15 minutes from now?
No, we don't go right in.
right now.
This is a terrible
Different than committee meetings.
Mayor, you can have a different chair.
want 2 minutes, 5 minutes?
1 minute.
Oh, no, let's just go ahead. They go out there.
Thank you. All right, where did we lose Lionel? All right, let Melissa go. Melissa just needs to cough.